There's a thing in our culture that's killing our culture. It's killing success. And that is that we've become addicted to other people's opinions. I think the biggest shift in our lives, the things that makes us the happiest, is that when somebody helps us identify our natural giftedness. You can't feed everybody else if you're starving.
Yeah.
Spiritually, emotionally, financially. There's a thing in our culture that's killing our culture. It's killing success. And that is that we've become addicted to other people's opinions. We've become addicted to other people's approval. And social media is wonderful, but it's all about how many likes do you get? How many selfies can you take? That may feel good when you get it, but then what it does is it governs your behavior. You begin to only do things to seek other people's approval. And even when you get it, right? It's short term. It doesn't really feel very good. It's not fulfilling. What we really want is not just success, we want fulfillment. The way we get fulfillment is self-respect, is self-confidence. And that's how somehow in your life you must begin to separate what you do from what people think about it. You know this, the people that have really won in life and in business, they eventually drop the addiction to what other people think about them. They're most concerned about what they think about them, or if they're a person of faith, of what their God thinks about them, not the rest of the world. Because the higher you climb, the more haters you're gonna have. There's absolutely no question about it. You ought to hope you have more of them. The only thing I will warn people of is the higher you climb, the closer to you the haters are. So right now, if you're at one level of success, it's people at a distance that are haters. But as you climb higher, there's always the one or two people in your close circle who begin to try to pull you back down because they think you're leaving them. They make you, your success is making them uncomfortable about where they are. And so they begin to do everything they can to pull you back down. So the closer the haters are to you, the even more success you're having. I had a really good friend of mine, I went to lunch and he said, I don't know who this guy is here in front of me. And he goes, let me ask you a question, honestly. Right now, what are you grateful for? And at the lunch I said, jack nothing, brother. There's nothing good in my life right now. And I'm not exaggerating this to you when I tell you this, and this is a factual story. As I'm mouthing these words, two people walked in with an older man. Both of them clearly were fighting cancer somehow. Both had lost their hair. One of the ladies had a bonnet on, and they were barely moving in. Both walked by our table and gave me the most warm greeting, the warmest smile as a stranger. And he goes, that's pretty freaking pathetic. You can't find anything in your life to be grateful for right now. And on the drive home, I'm not kidding you, I started to stack gratitude. I started to take inventory. Because if you can find things to be grateful for in that space, man, is your life going to be rich when there really are external things to be grateful for. So my first mechanism out of that space was honestly to stack the things I was grateful for, and I started reinforcing it over and over and over again. And what happens is there's this reticular activating system in our brains, right? And all of a sudden, because that's the messaging I was giving myself, all of a sudden, all these things start to come into my awareness that I'm grateful for. I start to magnetize to myself some people that I needed to find into my life, and that was the next layer. I started to see things to be grateful for. My health, my fitness, people who loved me. And what it did is it changed my state. When I stacked gratitude, I changed what I did in the morning, and I changed what I did in the evening. And so somehow by grabbing control of my morning and by grabbing control of my evening, I got some measure of control over the middle of my day. I was an out of control person back in those days, meaning this, I woke up worried, stressed, fearful, and I immediately start thinking about a bill I had to pay, something that was wrong, and I'm in a state of reaction to begin I'm talking within 6 minutes of waking up, 6 seconds. Most people listening to this, that's what they do. I said, I gotta grab control of my morning, and I set up routines in my morning. Maybe they served me, maybe they didn't, but they were things I could deliver on doing for myself. And so not only did that give me control over the day, but I started to stack my self-confidence too. I want to turn my mentors into my friends. Like, you know how you and I are we're gonna become great friends, because the highest level of influence is actually friend. Like if you have kids, anybody out there, the truth is, and most of you guys are so young, but you don't really worry about who their teachers are. That's their mentor. You worry about who they hang out with. You know this from when you were a kid, right? So true. Friends. So you got to turn your mentors into friends long term. But for me, when I was a little boy, I played baseball. Miracle. I'm at a baseball camp. Rod Carew's there, who's a Hall of Fame baseball player. He's the guest coach at the baseball camp. All the other kids, hey, can I get an autograph? Blah, blah, blah. I went up to him and said, Mr. Carew, will you be my coach? I'm 8 years old.
Wow, 8 years old.
Will you be my coach? I'm this little left-handed hitter. He's Rod Carew. If you don't know who he is, Google it, right? And he goes, I might coach you. Let me see you hit. And I get in the cage and I batted just like him. He used to bat with his bat flat like this instead of up, and I batted just like him. And he ends up meeting my dad and he goes, I was thinking of starting a hitting school. Why doesn't he be my first student? So when I'm 8 years old, my hitting coach ends up becoming Rod Carew until I leave to go to college. Is that crazy?
That's unbelievable.
And then once I got into the business world, though, I knew that principle. And so I would start to put myself in environments. So Tony Robbins has been a major influence on me.
Right.
I had a goal. My goal was I went to one of his seminars and I'm like, okay, well, that was cool, but I want to know him. And so over time, I sought him out. And then, the way you get a mentor eventually, too, is that somehow there's reciprocity involved. You bring them some value.
Yeah.
You teach them something. You give them something they can't get, whether that's love, belief, care, time, admiration, whatever it is. So Tony's been a major one for me. Phil Knight's been a significant one for me. Stallone's been one. These are, the point of my life now where those are guys that have made a major impact on me. What mentors do for you is they not only teach you things, but they make you want to live up to their belief in them. And I think the other thing is they can hold you accountable differently than you can yourself, because you don't want to let someone down whom you respect, the dad principle that you said earlier, right? So I haven't won in my life because I'm trying to prove something to Tony Robbins. But part of the steps of my life have been when I make a verbal commitment to him that I'm going to do something, I want to build a reputation with him that I keep my promises.
Right.
And that's different.
Yeah.
And so that's what my mentors have done for me, and I still seek them out all the time in whatever area that I'm moving towards. I'm always trying to find out who's the best at this, who should I build a relationship with, who should I collaborate with.
What are some of the biggest barriers that people face on their journey?
Yeah, the biggest barrier is their own identity. No question about it. It's the way they see themselves. There's the old analogy of the thermostat in the room, right? That you're not gonna, if your lifestyle is set at 75 degrees, if you get it going really good and life gets heated up to 80, 85 degrees, unconsciously we find a way to cool things back down and get where we're comfortable. Most people, good people, have a hard time winning. Isn't that ironic? They always tell you, good things happen to good people. But the truth is, that's not always the case, because if you're a good person, it means you're moral and you're ethical. And so what moral and ethical people have is this governor, and that is that they don't ever want to take more than they think they're worthy of or they deserve. A bad person will. That's why some of you even listen to this, people listen to this will say, there's this guy at work and he's always number one on the sales, but he's not a good guy. Because short term, bad people can actually get ahead of good people. Now they'll always flame out because you do reap what you sow, and it does come home eventually. But for a good person to win, they actually have to increase what they think they're worth or what they're worthy of or what they deserve, because good people will only take from a business, money, anything in life, they'll only take from the table what they think they deserve. So if you can increase your worth, if you can increase what you believe you deserve, then you'll take more from life. When I was small, I was also really undersized. So it's probably one of the reasons I lift weights. I was always, every baseball picture, I'm the kid holding a sign in the front, right? So I was small and skinny. They used to tease me Eddie Spaghetti, and I'd get bullied at school, and I never retaliated. So I had that mixed with shyness, mixed with chaos in my home, which many people can relate to. And I gotta tell you that the shift for me, sports was good for me, because it gave me an outlet. I finally found something that I was pretty good at. I think the biggest shift in our lives, the things that makes us the happiest, is that when somebody helps us identify our natural giftedness. And when I was a little boy, when I got a little bit older, they pointed out my speed. So it wasn't my lack of size, I was fast. I was the fast kid, right? I always wanted to be fast kid, and I got confidence in baseball doing that. When I got into business, they said, you're intense. When someone points out a gift about you that you also kind of intuitively know to be true, they're linked to them. You're intense, you're passionate, you won't get outworked, you're relentless. I went, I am those things. And when someone linked those gifts to me winning, now I believed I could win. That's the other way to change identity, is when someone can link your giftedness to the victory, you'll believe it. Not like you're great, that's general, that's bullshit. Right. But it's something you know specific, like for you right now, you wouldn't brag about them. There's a few things you know what, I am good at these things, right? I've always been good at these things, it's natural for me. And when someone links that to you winning, like for you, for example, you're an unbelievable interviewer. You have this general, you don't need to be the smartest person in the room, because you probably are most of the time. And so there's a confidence that allows you to be present when you interview me and just listen, that's different than anyone who's interviewed me before. And so that's a natural giftedness for you, which is why there's a part of you that kind of knows, I am pretty, you wouldn't say it, but I am pretty good at this. This is a good program. And so the way we change your identity, the way I changed mine, was by getting in touch with what some of my natural gifts were and then using them in my career, using them in my life. That shifted the weight right off of me. Because the weight was, I suck, I'm shy, I'm small, I have a screwed up family. That's the weight, right? The lifting off of the weight is, these are some gifts God gave me, or the universe gave me, or that at least I know I have, and I can spend my life using these gifts. Now I've got hope. Now my identity's changing. Now my life takes a different direction. Hey guys, thanks for sticking around. If you'd like more, click the videos right here. They're exactly what you need to see next. And if you're new here, hit subscribe and become a part of the Max Out community. And tell me what you think about the videos in the comments below. I read all of them every week, and I select winners that get all kinds of prizes, gear, coaching calls with me. Make a comment.